In this video, we're going to cover Pinchas from a totally different angle, an angle that's relevant to non-Jews, to converts, and to Jews, and it's an angle that's always hinted at but never ever covered. And it's been kind of driving me crazy for the last couple years because it seems like it almost they almost don't want to cover it for some reason. But let's get into it. Pinchas is identified with Elijah. Now, I'm not going to delve into this. It's well known. There are tons of sources identifying Pinchas with Elijah the prophet. This is significant because you guys know of this source from the Gate of Reincarnations. We discovered that Jethro and Pinchas are on this list. And Pinchas here is the grandson of Jethro here. They're both from Cain. Jethro's Cainite, as in Cainite, and we know that Pinchas is known for being zealous, which is connected to Cainite. In fact, both Jethro and Pinchas are called zealous. But it's very interesting that you also find on this list Elijah the prophet. So you find Elijah and Pinchas on the same list from the same soul root. Now, why is this significant? I'm going to show you something that will probably raise your eyebrows, so just bear with me here. Rabbi Menachem Azariah told us in a cryptic manner that Moses and the elders cried because through an act by Zimri and his brethren, Israel would be placed in a position of not knowing where the site of God's holiness was to be found. It required Pinchas, i.e. Elijah the prophet. Now remember this, Elijah the prophet, Pinchas, who will announce the arrival of the Messiah until Israel would once again be able to supply the angels with the correct answer as to where the whereabouts of the site of God's holiness. So remember this, Pinchas, Elijah, both Kenites, and it says, will announce the arrival of the Messiah. Now pay attention carefully. Here is our source from Legends of the Jews. And it will also happen at the end of days, in the time of the Messiah, when Rome and all the other nations will be destroyed by Israel, except only the descendants of Jethro, who will participate in Israel's joy and sorrows. The Cainites are to be the ones to announce to Israel the arrival of the Messiah. Exact same language as Pinchas and Elijah. And the sons of the Cainite Yonadab, or Jehonadab, the father of the Rechabites, are to be the first at the time of the Messiah to bring offerings at the temple and to announce to Jerusalem its deliverance. This was Bilam's last prophecy. And one of the earlier videos we covered Bilam's prophecy to the Cainite, Jethro. Okay, he hinted that Pinchas, or Elijah, would preside over the completion of the part of God's promise to Abraham, which was still outstanding. So you remember the promise or the covenant Hashem, God, made with Abraham in Genesis 15, and it included 10 nations. Interestingly, the first 3 nations, the Cainites, the Kenites, and the Kabbalah, so there's those Cainites again, that is the incomplete part, the part that's left over. It says here in the Rashi, 10 nations are listed here, yet he gave to them only the land of the 7 nations. And then it says that the lands of the Cainite, the Kenites, and the Kabbalah are destined to be possessed in the messianic future. So it's very interesting to me that we never hear anything about Jethro, the Cainites, even though these are people who did complete 180s and clung to Torah like no one else, and reached the highest level possible for them.